Standing by to bring us up to speed. Good morning, Alamide.
Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, team. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Olamide with the news. What do we have this morning?
I've got some juicy stories for you guys. I love Mondays because a lot happens over the weekend, so I'm going to take it away. Got a lot to unpack. Good morning, Nigeria. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and an eye on the streets. And if it's a trending story, we're going to come on here and have some decent and quality dialogue about it. In our first story, Senator Kingibe, who represents the Federal Capital Territory, has stirred controversy online after calling out Nigerian youth for what she described as a culture of constant complaint without constructive action. Now, according to Senator Kingibe, while young Nigerians are vocal about poor governance, many fail to engage meaningfully with the political process or hold their leaders accountable. Well, of course, her remarks have ignited sharp reactions across social media, with many questioning if, as a senator, she's now asking young Nigerians to do her job for her. Take a look at this video.
I have said it. Nigerian youths, they are complacent. They are quiet. All they do is grumble. We need to have constructive interaction. Do you understand? All I hear is grumblings and insults. That's not helpful. My advice is to the Nigerian youth. My advice to Nigerian people: this is your country, own it. You have another country, I don't have another country, so we have to make it work. We have to do whatever is necessary to reclaim our country, whatever is necessary to make sure that this country works for everybody. I want to see something. I'm sure other leaders want to see something, but all I see are young people who complain and constantly just insult their leaders, but they do not constructively engage the leaders. The minister is an emissary of the president. The president is the de facto. Is it a letter you guys have written to the president? Is it a complaint? Is it a platform? Tell me. None.
This is very interesting, and some might even call this problematic. Well, I took a look at Senator Kingibe's social media, and the first thing on there, it says wife, mother, and leader. As a mother, would you advise your young children to go out and start protesting, especially in today's current political climate? I also might argue that a good leader, instead of seeing the grumblings of youth online as complaints, to sift through those complaints and achieve dialogue with your younger constituents and find solutions to the problems that they're complaining about online, as opposed to just calling it complaints. But what do I know? Let's take a look at social media. I'll take 2 tweets on this. Young people are not having it from her this morning. King says, why can't you stand up to your colleagues and scatter everything if you have to? We will fight to campaign for you lot. We will fight to vote you in, and then we will fight to help you do your tenure. Okay, ma, at Kingibe. We'll take another tweet. The Mind says, Madam at Kingibe, I and my goons manned my polling unit from 6 a.m. February 25th until 3 a.m. February 26th, provided fuel and generators, security, logistics, refreshments, and open eye to INEC staff when they didn't want to upload, just to see you and Peter Obi elected in FCT. What activism have you done in the National Assembly? In our next story, a staff member at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, is under fire after being secretly filmed allegedly receiving 16,000 naira in cash from a new student as part of an unofficial admission clearance process. Now, the video was shared on X, and it shows the staffer counting cash handed over by a student. According to the student behind the recording, the official insisted on cash-only payments, refusing bank transfers entirely. Take a look at this.
Nigerians, people should come to our help. This is Faculty of Agriculture. During clearance, this man will be collecting 16K from each student. This is not fair. 16,000 naira from the thousands of students, hundreds of students coming to do clearance for first years, people that don't even have money, struggling to go through school. Some students are struggling to train themselves. I personally am struggling to train myself, and Norma will just be in his office collecting money from you. He will tell you it doesn't take transfer. If this is legal, the faculty is supposed to have an account, but this is not legal. It's only collecting cash. This is not fair. 16K each student just to do your clearance. See another student giving him money.
The student also alleged that this practice is widespread within the department, and he claimed that hundreds of freshers are being asked to pay the same amount just to complete their clearance. I have a question for the institution. Do you now expect these students to operate in integrity? Do you expect them to not engage in exam malpractice? Do you expect them to be honest in their dealings when this is the message that officials are sending out, that you can pay to get what you want? It starts at the institutional level. Let's take a look at social media. If this is true, it's very, very disappointing. And this is very courageous of that student. A Black Oracle says, this money he's collecting, some top officials are benefiting, so they will not do anything about this. We'll take one more tweet. African Tech says, you don't even know if it was approved by the board of the Faculty of Agriculture of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, before coming online to put yourself in trouble. Common sense should tell you that you should approach the dean of your faculty privately to verify if it was approved by the faculty. I pity you. Anyway, team, I want to focus on this Ireti Kingibe story. I mean, she came out and said, Nigerian youth, you're just complaining and you're just grumbling. I want to see more from you guys. What more could Nigerian youth possibly be doing? And is this a dangerous rhetoric and a dangerous message she's sending out to Nigerian youth? Are these inflammatory remarks by Senator Ireti Kingibe, do you think?
Sorry. Madam should have noticed that the youth rule the airwaves, and you make a blanket statement against them, you're going to have a backlash, a serious backlash, and that's what she's having. I remember some years back, former president did something similar to that, and it became so viral that it became actually embarrassing. I think she would have been a little bit more subtle about it and make her point, but that's just me.
Well, I think that she's speaking from both sides of her mouth, because I went to her page on X and I saw a press statement she released sometime last month about teachers who were protesting, primary school teachers who were protesting under the Federal Capital Territory, Universal Basic Education Board, for prolonged non-payment of their entitlements. And she said it's disturbing to see them protest. Now, you are asking youth to protest. Other people did the protest and you were saying it was disturbing and that you were going to use your office to addressing this matter. Where do you stand, really? That's even my big question. If you have a role to play, let's know where you stand and what you're standing on, what your principles are. But it's seeming like we do not know. You swing here and there. If you are asking the youth to speak about issues, give them perhaps what they should do or how they should approach these matters. You said that they are not speaking up, they are not coming out, they are only complaining and complaining. If someone is complaining, what are they doing? They are speaking. It means they are not satisfied, except you. It's seemingly like you are not understanding how youth approach these matters. And the question I even want to ask her is, how regularly does she engage her constituents on these issues so that they can complain to her and then she can know how to push it at the National Assembly? You perhaps are not doing your work as you should. That's on the one hand. And for the student who perhaps recorded that lecturer that keeps demanding 15,000 naira for clearance, it's a sad narrative that we see in our education system, the level of corruption. Are they supposed to pay that monies? Is that a demand that the school is making? A big question. Unfortunately, that's what we see right now.
First of all, Olamide, I'm very disappointed in her that she can open her mouth and say what she said about Nigerian youth. It's very disheartening. My question is, what do you want the youth to do? Like, what exactly do you want them to do? To do your job for you? And just to add to it, Madam Ireti, Nigerian youths are smart, they are innovative, they are passionate about Nigeria. We've seen them come out several times to vote. We've seen a lot of youths that have put Nigeria on the map. Absolutely. So it's really sad for you to come out and say this and just put everybody together and now saying that, you know, even when they protest, it doesn't, whatever they protest about doesn't happen. That means you are saying that even when they come out to protest, you don't make changes. It's really sad. I want to believe that you will come out and apologize for this statement you made against Nigerian youths. And also for the school, I've always been against bribe. And if our heads are taking money, then what do you want the children to do? So if the school did not agree for that, then I believe that the lecturer or whatsoever should be arrested.
I want to say it differently, and this is not to support or disagree with Ireti Kingibe. The thing is, if you look, just as you said, Rhea, Nigerian youth are very innovative. They're doing a whole lot. There are so many people that are doing, so well that we appreciate. Some of them are in fintech. Some of them are in, social media influencers. While we have some that are bad representations or representative of the Nigerian youth, in terms of ritual, in terms of yahoo, in terms of doing bad things, and you have some of them on the social media, they are like attack dogs. No little wonder, one senator used the word G and H, for them, which is, so sad that we have some people in that category. You see a whole lot of them who are uncouth, who are brash. Yes, they will attack you when you say anything. But the thing is, I guess our intention, for saying this is that beyond you calling the government to question, beyond you, calling for accountability, asking for accountability, is you should also do something. Some do not even want to do anything at all. They just want to come at you, regardless of your age, regardless of your status, regardless of anything. So I think it is now time for us to reinvent ourselves, reimagine ourselves and say, yes, we want to be the better version of ourselves in this country. Kudos to those that are doing well.
What she said was complain. All youths do is complain.
So
she did not write to the matter of.
She must have said that, but she did not generalize.
Ibrahim,
just
she did. If you're saying that this is what she meant, then she didn't put it in the right way.
That's what I'm saying. So I put that in my own words, based on my own perception. There are so many youths that are doing so well, and there are so many bad youths that we have in this country that we need to work on.
She shouldn't have generalized then. She should have said some, not put everybody in the same box.
I take it Ibrahim is not a Nigerian youth.
Ibrahim is a Nigerian
Moving on in our next story. Born out of Nigeria's fight against rampant financial crime, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, was established in 2003 to combat corruption, investigate illicit financial activity, and recover stolen assets. But 2 decades later, it seems as though the agency is constantly at the center of public scrutiny, not for its mission, but for its methods. Now, a video is now going viral again, capturing the chaotic aftermath of another EFCC raid, and it sparked fresh debate over how the agency carries out its operations. Now, while details of this specific raid remain unclear, the footage has, of course, raised criticism about the Commission's use of force during its raids. Take a look at this video.
They say the EFCC are big. Now back of yak, now this one for Apple. Now, see. They break those. See the way they break those things and now first they pass. Back of yak, hotel, now this one for Apple. I beg. They break everywhere. Sit down. They break all the door, including our door. See, this got everywhere, you see. They break the glasses, they break the window, they enter inside everywhere, they break. See, grand, they left all the tires, all of them.
There are indeed two sides to every story, and I'm sure that EFCC does have theirs. But I will say this, as the watchdog of one of the big watchdogs of the country, when the watchdog fails, who is the watchdog of the watchdog? That is my question to EFCC. Earlier this year, we saw the death of an EFCC officer who was shot during a raid, and it caused uproar in the country. It is clear that these raids have the capability to turn very deadly. And so once again, the EFCC needs to come out and clarify what is the format and the nature of their raids, so Nigerian citizens can be sure when an EFCC raid is happening, so these don't turn deadly again. But I'm going to take 2 tweets on this. Kone says, a time will come in Nigeria when security agents will no longer be able to arrest anyone due to the way that we sympathize with criminals on social media. Because what did they do? Why were they raiding their compound? We got to ask that question as well. Handler says, at official EFCC, why are your men acting the same way that criminals act? Now we can't differentiate when armed robbery is happening or EFCC are carrying out their duty. This has to stop. Start behaving like an organized agency. In our next story, Captain Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso's 37-year-old military leader, has become a rising star across Africa, celebrated for his anti-colonial stance, bold economic reforms, and his rejection of Western influence. But in Nigeria, support for Traore might now come at a cost. In Benin City, Edo State, Marxist activist and leader of the Talakawa Parliament, Comrade Kola Edokpayi, has allegedly been arrested by operatives of the Department of State Services over a planned Pan-African solidarity rally in support of Traore. Witnesses are saying that DSS agents stormed and ransacked his office before taking him and 5 others into custody. His wife was also reportedly denied access when she tried to visit him, and there are fears that he may have been moved to Abuja to face possible treason charges. Now, the Edo chapter of the Take It Back movement has also demanded his immediate and unconditional release, calling the incident a dangerous precedent for freedom of expression in Nigeria. Captain Traore has become a pan-African symbol of hope and anti-colonialism and anti-westernization. And he is a symbol. And so arresting this man for attempting to stage a peaceful protest in support of him, what does that say about us as a member of, as one of the countries of Africa? What does that say about our stance on unification and unifying Africa? But let's take a look at social media. I'll take 2 tweets on this. Kay says, if peaceful Pan-African solidarity is met with handcuffs, then we must ask whose interests are truly being protected. We'll take 1 more tweet. Abisoye says, he was arrested because he was planning a protest for Traore in Edo State. If he wants to protest for Traore, he should go to Burkina Faso to do so. This is very interesting. Team, there have been a lot of people that have come out to say that Africa is so desperate for a wonderful leader that we're now placing we're placing Ibrahim Traore on a pedestal, and that he's not all he's hyped up to be. What do you make about this controversial yet inspiring figure?
Well, he might be a whole lot of other things, but one thing you can't take away from him, that I'm talking about Captain Traore, is that he's quite inspirational and so on. But when he got into power via a coup, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as chairman, ECOWAS chairman, made a statement. Look, let peace reign. Obviously not supporting the fact that it was a coup that brought them in. So it is taken for granted that that is the stance of Nigeria. If that is the case, why do you want to do a protest in Nigeria? It will be seen as a treason. So I don't think DSS made any mistake by arresting him. Now talking about EFCC. Standard procedure is when you want to storm a house, you first of all introduce yourself. This is the EFCC. And if there is no cooperation from the inhabitants of the house, then you can bust the door and go in because you have a warrant or you have something. And that gives you legal right to do that. But where those are not in place, it's a crime.
And let me begin with the EFCC story. Like you have rightly pointed, the DSS and the EFCC has the right to enforce arrest. The truth is, there are 3 sides to the story: the EFCC side, the people, the occupants of that house, and then the side of truth. Now, we are not there. We're only seeing videos of what happened after the EFCC busted into that place and then did enforce the arrest that they did. Now, we do not know if there was a resistance, because often a time it is when there is resistance, they bust that door open and then enforce arrest. If you have nothing to hide, then you shouldn't resist arrest. Just go with them, and they wouldn't spoil your house or do any damage to your house. As we have seen, they'll come, take you, and then you answer the questions, and then you inform anybody you want to inform. And then afterwards, we monitor what is going on with you. I think that there must have been resistance. That is why we are seeing what happened there. And then for the person supporting Ibrahim Traore, that was, that's Comrade Kola there. It's important that we are informed as a society and that you know what you can do in Nigeria. Certain things cannot be accepted in Nigeria. You should, whatever freedom you're trying to perhaps do, as you say, or exercise, it should be within the ambit of the law. And when you go beyond that, then you will see these kinds of arrests. How would you be supporting a country where a coup took place? There is no democracy. Of course, it might be that you want to associate with that, and then it talks about coup and all of that start happening across the country. What movement did you call Take It Back movement? You see the way they have been forceful and the kinds of statements these people make. And of course, they want to associate with any country that they want to associate with to show solidarity and perhaps invite these persons into the country. Often the time, we do not know the import of certain things that we do until they begin to happen.
Well, if he wants to protest, he knows his way to Burkina Faso. But I really want to speak about the EFCC issue. You know, sometimes we've heard that a lot of persons would disguise as EFCC and go to these houses and try to, you know, rob these people. So sometimes that's why I like to... A lot of people are now very resistant when they hear EFCC. So what I would like to tell the EFCC, if there's anything that shows that this is an authentic operative that is coming into the house, because Veronica, most times that's why these people are resistant, because we've seen a lot of stories like that, that people would dress themselves and say they are EFCC and they go, and at the end of the day, they are robbing. But even with this story, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if they tried to resist. I don't think EFCC would normally go and damage a house like this if they were just going to raid.
Yes, so Ibrahim Traore, well, he's enjoying popularity in his country, and then he's making use of the social media to his very own advantage. But anyone who wants to support him, show support, show solidarity, nobody will stop you, but not on a soil where you know that there is democratic governance. So if Ibrahim Traore wants to continue in that stride, which, well, very good, he should, you know, relinquish his power as a military government and take on the normal procedure of running for election. He has gained popularity, then he will win election and becomes, you know, democratically elected, president. So if you don't want to do that on the Nigerian soil, what are you calling for? Are you calling for a coup in Nigeria? You should be arrested.
Right, right. Unfortunately, our time is up, but thank you, Olamide, for those stories. Definitely, people can chime in using the hashtag trending now on TVC. Well, this is how we have to draw the curtains, or where we have to draw the curtains on the program for today. Let's let you know that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News.